Hey everyone, I'm Rob and welcome to the test drive. Today, I'm driving the 2018 Volkswagen Tiguan. Now, if you take a look at Volkswagen's website or maybe at your nearest Volkswagen dealer, you may notice that there are two different Tiguans currently for sale in 2018 right now. You have the Tiguan Limited, which is actually the old body style. It's literally the old Tiguan just carried over. And then you have the Tiguan that I'm driving today, which is actually the all-new Tiguan. And the Tiguan Limited is really just a lower cost old model that's still being sold as new, essentially. But this video is going to be about the second generation Tiguan, the one that I'm driving today. So like in every other review, we're going to start with the exterior of the 2018 Tiguan. Now, I have to say from the front, this is not the most aggressive looking SUV in this class. Now, this small SUV, compact, crossover, space, really whatever you want to call it, isn't necessarily where you see the most aggressive vehicles anyway. But I have to say the front end, while it does look nice and it does look more modern than the previous first generation Tiguan, it's not the most aggressive looking. Now, I do like the daytime running lights. I think they look really nice, but I think the headlights overall, just being a very rectangular, kind of simple look, just don't make this look that good from the front. Still a good looking vehicle overall, and the front's not bad, but in my opinion, I just think they could have made it look more aggressive. Now, from the side, it does look longer than the previous Tiguan, and that is because it is. And I think it looks pretty good. You have a lot of different rim options for the Tiguan. The one that I'm driving has the standard, basically 17-inch rims, and then you also have some 19 and 20-inch options that do make the side of this Tiguan look even better, make it look more sporty, more aggressive. And then from the rear, I think that this does look better than the previous generation. I like the look of the taillights. I think the back overall just looks like a bigger, more expensive vehicle, and I really do like that. I also like the dual exhaust that this Tiguan has as well. Now, getting to the interior of the 2018 Tiguan, I feel like this is really where this small SUV shines. Now, the first thing that you're probably going to notice is that the Tiguan now in its second generation has 3 rows of seating, which is extremely bizarre for a vehicle this size. Very uncommon, but they managed to pack in a 3rd row in the trunk of this Tiguan. Now, the spacing in here is really nice. This does not feel like a small, cramped SUV. The driver and front passenger have plenty of room. The seats are definitely not narrow, and you do have a decent amount of space in between the driver and front passenger. The 2nd row is pretty nice as well. I was able to sit behind myself with no problems. I'm 6 feet tall. You can also adjust the 2nd row forward and backward, which obviously affects the legroom in the 3rd row. And getting to the 3rd row, those seats are very small. I did actually try and fit back there myself, and it was very cramped. Now, I could have moved the 2nd row up a little bit. That would have obviously affected the 2nd row legroom. That would have given me a little bit more room, though. As you can see, I was very uncomfortable, but it is interesting to have a 3rd row in this car, and I think it's kind of cool to be able to fit 7 people in here, maybe not 7 adults comfortably, but to put 2 small children in the back is nice. It's nice to have that capability in a vehicle that is not very expensive. Now, the Tiguan that I'm driving has the VTEX leatherette seating surfaces, so obviously it's not full leather, but they do feel pretty nice. They are very soft. I have to say, for being not real leather, it does feel really nice. Now, you do have a Vienna leather option as well, which is very nice, but the interesting thing about that is that if you get the Vienna leather package, or if you get a Vienna leather option, you get it in the 1st and 2nd rows, but you actually don't get it in the 3rd row, which is interesting. But I mean, who's going to be sitting back there that is going to know or care that it's not real leather, or that their seating surface is not the same as what everybody else in the car has. You can also get a large panoramic moonroof in the Tiguan. The one that I'm driving just doesn't have it, but that opens this up even more. I think it's a great option to get. I also really like the steering wheel in the Tiguan. The fact that it does have a flat bottom, and it just looks and feels pretty sporty for a vehicle in this class, and it's very soft as well. Again, I feel like the interior here really was built with quality, and it feels similar to what you see in a lot of Audi vehicles, so I like that a lot. Now, getting to the performance of the 2018 Tiguan, there's only one engine option available. That is a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged engine that produces 184 horsepower and 221 pound-feet of torque. And while that isn't a lot of power, this Tiguan doesn't feel slow most of the time. It feels like it gets up pretty quickly. It's pretty peppy. The 4-cylinder has a nice little rumble to it that I actually like, and it's fun to drive. Now, there are situations where you feel like you need a lot of power and you step on it full throttle and you just don't quite get what you need. But for this class of car, I feel like it's a pretty decent engine option. Now, of course, if you look at like the Ford Escape, for example, then, you know, that has 245 horsepower, 275 pound-feet of torque when you look at the, you know, 2-liter EcoBoost option. But again, I feel like this is still a solid power plant for this car. This engine is also paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and you do have a slap shift functionality. There's no paddle. It's not the quickest shifting, but again, in a vehicle in this class, it's not really something that you see or particularly care about anyways. And this transmission does shift very nicely. It's very smooth. Feels like it knows what gear to be in pretty much all the time as well. The Tiguan also has a pretty soft ride. I drove this on a long trip the last 2 days, and it was very comfortable, and even on our crappy New York roads, it absorbed the bumps pretty well. You can get the Tiguan in front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, and the all-wheel drive system is Volkswagen's 4Motion all-wheel drive system. The Tiguan also gets pretty decent fuel economy. It's rated at up to 22 miles per gallon in the city, 27 on the highway. I also have to say that this Tiguan does handle pretty decently. You can go around turns with confidence. You do get some body roll, of course, but it doesn't feel that severe. Being an SUV and not a sedan or a car, I think that this feels pretty nimble, and it is pretty fun to drive. You can certainly drive this thing spiritedly and have some fun with it, even though it only has 184 horsepower. Now, getting to the technology of the 2018 Tiguan, what I didn't mention in the beginning is that you have 4 different trim levels to the Tiguan. It starts with the S, and then it goes to the SE, SEL, and SEL Premium being the highest level trim. The one that I'm driving is the SE trim level. So even at just being a step above the base model, this Tiguan comes with a lot of technology. You have this large 8-inch touchscreen here that looks very big in a small SUV like this, and I really like it. It looks really good. It's laid out very well, and it also has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto standard, which is really nice. So you can get navigation in this touchscreen. The one that I'm driving just doesn't have it. But when you have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, you have the navigation system from your phone projected onto the screen, as well as all the other functionality that comes with it that is just so nice. So I really like that. You also have a nice large backup camera. The graphics are pretty good. There's also an abundance of safety technology that you can get in the Tiguan, and even the SE that I have has a nice amount of technology standard. You have blind spot monitoring in this. You also have some forward distance control, I guess. I don't really know what you'd call it, but when you're following somebody too closely, it'll actually show you in the screen in between the tachometer and speedometer. And there is so much more safety technology that you can get in this Tiguan in the higher level trims, but it's nice to see some of the things that are standard, even not at a completely loaded Tiguan level. You also have a nice screen in between the tachometer and the speedometer. It gives you a bunch of vehicle information, and I really like that the climate control is dual zone. This Tiguan also has the proximity key functionality to enter and exit the vehicle. It is push button start, and you do have several USB ports throughout the vehicle as well. So I have to say that from a technology standpoint, I really like where this Tiguan is. So I hope you enjoyed this review of the 2018 Volkswagen Tiguan. Again, I'm Rob. This is the test drive. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about the video and this vehicle and what this competes against. And please consider subscribing to my channel if you'd like. It does help me make more videos and makes you eligible for the giveaways that we have going on. We just recently gave away an Akaso EK7000 action camera. I am going to announce a new giveaway here very soon. So it does make you eligible for that. And you're just supporting the channel. So if you like the content, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye-bye.